Now, a Deputy Speaker of Parliament can vote while presiding and be counted as part of a quorum for decision-making. This remains the law in Ghana. The Supreme Court today ruled that it has not been convinced to depart from this position it took on March 9th. Private legal practitioner Justice Abdullahi, who filed the matter, headed back to the Supreme Court insisting the judges got it all wrong.
Right, it makes sense now.
Are you surprised by the outcome of the decision?
Obviously not. Prior to today, I had made it clear that a review application is probably one of the most difficult things to succeed in at the Supreme Court. And so I knew the odds were against me. Indeed, some had predicted 1:100. I had predicted almost 0. Except that I still moved forward with this because, in principle, as I said, I believe that the Supreme Court is made of seasoned lawyers, and if you make strong arguments before them, they were amenable to reviewing their decisions, their previous decisions. As it turns out, they decided otherwise. And once they've decided otherwise, I think we have to move on as a nation. What I didn't want was a situation where posterity would question us.
Now, let's listen to Deputy AG on the development in court today.
I mean, are you satisfied with the outcome of the decision first?
Definitely satisfied, because it has been our position always that the review application filed by Justice Abdullah is unmeritorious and clearly an abuse of the process of the court. So yes, I am satisfied with the ruling of this honorable court.
I mean, from the process that he filed, I mean, do you think that had he marshaled those arguments in the initial matter, that could have perhaps, I mean, because the review window certainly is a smaller window?
Definitely. So as you heard the honorable court hold, the review application is very strict and the grounds clearly stated, and one needs to find his case within the threshold set for a review application, that exceptional circumstances which has occasioned a grave miscarriage of justice, and there are new information that has been discovered which was not present at the time of the determination. I do not think, even without going through the review application, any argument advanced by the plaintiff on the basis that the court ought to have had regard to previous constitutions and other statutes of the Commonwealth will still have held. As you clearly heard, our constitution, which is a written one, is sui generis and ought to be interpreted in accordance with its peculiar nature. And so reference to other constitutions, even previous constitution, is no basis for interpreting the constitution.
Smoke is still emanating from some shops destroyed by fire at the Opera Square. Firefighters spent quite some time battling Monday's fire, which engulfed several shops at the Central Business District. Checks by Joy News this morning showed some of the affected shop owners were yet to return to the fire scene to salvage their wares. Some officials who spoke to Joy News also complained about difficulty in accessing the building and their fire hydrant. Let's first hear from the affected persons and then the fire personnel, as well as on their challenges.
And say the fire service for no abaso owa yade na process for so abaye ayade na say China Lebanese na China fo bi wa da bia ya so well dey ade wo soro da bia o well dey ade na jato mu eti won na kwaso fire no because adan ya ka ahoho asam a ebinu mo pre wo brodi a waba adwuma no nya wa adwuma kofa wada papa no ameye dey say da bia on ye dey di kan bebo fire service for na baso on wa ya dey di kan
na o say o well dey o mo say wo huda
yes bisa on nyina o well di gate on si da bia na obeye da bia o ye na dra o ye no o wo soro ti on wa hu e jare top no anu hwirisi form.
Okay, and the chairman in your manner, okay, so what this woman was basically saying was to applaud the fire service and the Ghana Police Service for the work they've done here. She's also blaming the foreigners who are allegedly the owners of the warehouses up there for the activities they've been doing. According to her, they hear that the foreigners have been doing some welding activities, and it is as a result of that that the fire broke out there. Now, almost stores I say ohono. I say
before ni be dear can but fakasi Chinese for na sorohone omodiano.
Entino Ghana for no modia say no more him for abrofono so more.
Abrofona no pay there yenhu omo haba Ghana ni no one moro ono so around na onam ha.
Moro.
Bebre Ghana for no. Bebre wholesale e was ro. Afi na won wate a won wo boba. Eti China for na welding e ma no. On the cause of problem ni nyina. Won Debia ya ka ho asem a omo ma ya kwan e de akofa ba no eti de ka me bo won aba so
hold on
enso no so omo de fight eja no so adoso enti ama shops no so e what down na eja na ankom no enso no so afrade mu I say eniema no e wo under
entino den na mo be mo
ya hwesen keja na be ko from na ye betimi abie shops no na ya hwe kwan ya betimi afa so na ya si ano ensuo so aba inside no any council I beba money ade but said ye ma me di kan ye bo fire service for aba so pa esan say finra and rebels 430 no any Ghana police said nra chief fire officer ankasa na o ha regional commander na o ha nadmo penyi
into one o store there kan ho be na share
ya me store share by ensuo na akom me shop and share MP said the medical can ye hwese ejana beba from na fe ye bia akwan e be fa so afi ye be hu de ensu ase no ne de ensay no
so basically what they are saying is that the warehouses out there, some belong to Ghanaians, but a lot of them belong to the Chinese, and but we are not able to tell exactly the destruction because those who are directly affected have not come around as of yet. What's that? As we see, I mean, I have only given a brief from a layman's point of view. You are the technical man. Which stage are we?
Thank you very much. We have extinguished the fire already. As we are here now, like you said, we are doing mop-up. Means we are standing by so that when there's any pockets of fire that reignite, then we need it in the bath. So that is what we are doing, mop-up. So our men have been strategically positioned in there and some are outside there observing so that the slightest fire we see reigniting, we need it in the bath. That is what we call mopping up. That is what we are doing. That's why we are here. Okay. The appliances were 11. We have dispatched some to go back, whilst others are standing by. So that is where we are now.
Well, if you look at how the destruction has been, why did it take us that long a time to quench the fire?
Thank you very much. You may say it is a long time, but to us it is not a long time because depending upon what is at stake, what is burning. One, we saw the fire at 4:34 yesterday. And the first appliance proceeded. And on reaching here, being proactive, we quickly commandeered additional 10 appliances so that we will not have so much challenges. And we were fighting the fire, just that the building has been partitioned with concrete blocks and that it made accessibility very difficult. We couldn't get easy access to fight the fire. That was a challenge. Apart from that, we did our best looking at the appliance that we commandeered, but the accessibility was.
The Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana says its demand for a neutrality allowance is justified. It will therefore continue to strike until government fully commit to paying the money. Clocks are laid down at 2 on Thursday, April 21, 2022, following the inability of government to pay the agreed allowance this year. The association at a press briefing this morning said the strike is still on and will be called off only when government honors its promise to them. They also accused the Trade Union Congress of acting in bad faith, the reason they will not march alongside them. There is uncertainty about the organization and commemoration of this year's Midday. comment by the leadership of the civil and local government have been coming at a press conference that they've been organizing. Parker Wilson has been there. He's with me on the line. Parker, what more can you tell us on this development?
Well, so it's clear that Clockstack will not participate in this year's Midday, and basically because they've accused TUC of bad faith, and in their own words, TUC being a poisonous union. Now, this is on the back of what we call the Code Declaration. Somewhere March 1 this year, the Trade Union Congress, together with other labor unions, met with government to look at their allowances and their salaries and their wage, how they will be fed going forward on the back of the economic challenges we are currently facing. Now, according to Clockstack, TUC, when they were going to sign the agreement at the blind side of Clockstack. So they do not have a better appreciation of what's contained in that said agreement. That is the Code Declaration. And so whatever happened in KOU, they are not part of it. And basically because of this is the reason they have chosen to deassociate themselves from TUC. And of course, they're asking other labor unions to equally do the same, because in that agreement, if you look at clause 14, TUC agreed and they signed a judgment that the trade unions would not sign onto any form of allowances or demand any form of wage bill because of the economic challenges. And on the back of that, TUC has now taken a U-turn and is asking for about 90% increment. They believe one is a betrayal, and then two, necessarily signing the contract without the knowledge of TUC makes it a bit, without the knowledge of Clockstack makes it a bit problematic, and is the reason they wouldn't associate themselves with anything going forward with what the TUC does. So that is the position on TUC.
And this is not it doesn't have a time bound to it?
No, they don't have any time. According to the executive director of Clockstack, Isaac Bampoado, henceforth, Clockstack, they equally have huge numbers, and they can equally do or organize programs on their own. So they will be organizing their own kind of, or a different version of Midday to celebrate their workers or celebrate their members. So this particular Midday, which will be on Sunday, they wouldn't be part of the process. And that is their position going forward. Again, with regards to their strike, they say that the strike is still in force. It's going to continue unabated. Tomorrow, we are learning that the National Labour Commission and the Finance Ministry, together with leadership of Clockstack, will be meeting. Now, we understand that the Finance Ministry will now provide the payment plan for their neutrality allowance. So they tell us that on the back of that, or after that negotiation meeting, or after that meeting, that is when they will decide whether to lay down their tools or still proceed with the strike. So that is the position of Clockstack, that with the strike, they are not backing down. They equally have superior negotiation skills, and that is why they have negotiated for their neutrality allowance. Any other labor union, which or perhaps would want to equally get the same neutrality allowance, can also go to the negotiation table with government and Fair Wages Allowance and Commission. They have done that. So people speaking against it should be careful, and those speaking against it should know that if you have a problem, you have to go to the Finance Ministry or go to government for them to resolve your problem, and do not attack Clockstack for having their own kind of negotiation skills that are giving them the opportunity to demand for neutrality allowance.
All right, let's move on to other stories. Now, an amount of $412 million is needed to execute the 5-year National Malaria Strategic Plan aimed at eliminating malaria in Ghana. They said the amount would be channeled into interventions to reduce malaria mortality by 90%, reduce case incidence by 50%, and achieve malaria pre-elimination in at least 6 districts by 2025. The National Malaria Control Program Manager, Dr. Kezia Mam, announced this at a commemoration of this year's World Malaria Day in Hohoe in the Volta region. This year's commemoration theme is Advance Equity, Build Resilience, and End Malaria.
Despite several interventions being implemented to fight malaria, including the introduction of vaccines, it remains the #1 cause of outpatient attendance in Ghana. According to the Ghana Health Service, 5.7 million malaria cases were recorded in 2021, with Ghana listed among the 11 countries with the highest malaria burden worldwide. The National Malaria Control Program therefore launched the National Malaria Strategic Plan in 2021 to fight the deadly disease caused by the Plasmodium parasite transmitted by the bite of an infected mosquito. The three main goals of the 5-year program are to reduce malaria mortality by 90%, reduce case incidence by 50%, and achieve malaria pre-elimination in at least 6 districts by 2025. However, speaking at the commemoration ceremony of the 2022 World Malaria Day in Hohwe, the National Malaria Control Program Manager, Dr. Kezia Mam, announced that her outfit is financially handicapped in implementing the strategic plan.
There are challenges, however. Currently, with the strategic plan, we have a gap of about $412 million for us to be able to fully implement that plan. We also need to ensure that we promote the advancements of newly proven interventions and scale it up to optimal levels.
Now, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, Yao Frimpong, says the only way to deal with the crisis facing the soybean industry is to increase production. This comes on the back of a Joy News documentary which highlighted the plight of processing factories blamed on the lack of raw materials. Speaking on the AM show, Mr. Yao Frimpong said industry players should hope for the better.
Soybean is in such high demand. And when we don't have the quantities that will bring the price down, naturally, the price will go up. It's such high demand everywhere in the world. So, as I indicated, I sympathize with our processing. But that's not to say that we should throw our arms in the air in this way. We should encourage ourselves. I mean, we are going to the planting season. We should encourage ourselves to go and do more. The ministry is taking delivery of some agri mechanization equipment, and hopefully, we are going to expand a lot of such production levels in the savanna areas. And maybe next year we will be singing a different song. The ministry taking delivery of agri mechanization equipment right now for distribution to the areas that we need them most. And we are going to distribute this to the areas. And therefore, I am of high hope that production is going to go up. And once production goes up in the regions that produce lots of soya beans, maybe just as I said, we'll be singing the different song come next year around the same time. We have to increase production. There's no other way. You have to increase production because on the international market, the price is so high. So we need to look inward and produce more.
Yao Frimpong is Ghana's Deputy Minister for Agriculture. Now, although shea butter is a product in high demand, the procedure involved in processing it is very long and tedious. But even then, women at the community level who labor to produce shea butter sometimes do not get the right price for their product. With the emergence of yellow shea butter, a new product which contains medicinal ingredients, the Widows and Orphans movement, which has been training women in shea butter processing as a way of economically empowering them, is asking government to support the women with machinery and a regulated market where they can get competitive prices for their product. Here is a report by Upper East Region correspondent Albert Sorry.
Inside the Widows and Orphans Movement Training Center here at Pusinamo in the Talensi district of the Upper East Region, these women gather to begin the processing of yellow shea butter. They will be processing 1.5 bags of shea nuts into yellow shea butter. First, they must select out the bad nuts.
Remove all the black nuts. Any foreign object that is inside the nuts, you remove it. Then after that, we carry it outside and we do our washing. Then after we wash, we just dry it for some time, then we crush it again. We do the crushing.
Meimunatu Musa has been processing shea butter for many years. She is here today to train these women in how to make yellow shea butter. After washing and drying the nuts and then crushing them, the job of the first day is done. The next day, the crushed shea nuts are steamed. Herbs from the turmeric plant are then added, and the mixture is milled into a paste. Day 3. The shea nut paste is taken through another process, kneading. This process separates the butter from the shea nut residue. Next, the butter is boiled for about 2 hours. It melts into oil. The oil is then poured into a plastic jerry can and stirred intermittently for the next 2 hours. Left overnight, the oil solidifies back into butter. In this case, the turmeric plant added gives the butter a yellow color. It has taken 4 days for these women to process 1.5 bags of shea nuts into yellow shea butter.
Yes, we have different clients. Some clients, they want yellow butter. And the plants that we use for the yellow butter is medicinal. You can eat it. You can use it as your pomade. It's good.
Maimunatu is, however, unhappy about the quantity of butter they got after days of hard work.
When we weigh it, it will be 1 box. It's 25 kg. This one, looking at this one, it looks as if we ran into loss because we sort up black nuts, the breaking ones, remove the ones with the shells. So it was plenty.
There were many
bad nuts. So this one, to be honest with you, when we sell, we won't be able to make profit.
4 days of hard work, and there is a chance these women will not make any profit on the butter they produced. And this is even with the help of the machinery here at the Widows and Orphans Movement Training Center. For the women in the rural areas who do not have access to this kind of machinery, shea butter processing could take them weeks. Director of the Widows and Orphans Movement, Fatih Abigail Abdullahi, says there is more demand for shea butter now that the yellow type is also emerging, and this will help economically empower more women in the country.
When women are economically empowered, they are able to resist abuses, but more importantly, they are able to meet their family needs. In recent times, the organization has had orders for yellow shea butter. However, our women groups were not able to produce yellow shea butter because they didn't have that skill. We approached one of our donors in Germany called Paul EV, and they supported us with some funds to carry out this 4-day training.
She believes that the women who engage in shea butter processing need support with machinery and a regulated market where they can get premium prices for their products.
We equally look at how we can reduce the drudgery associated in producing shea butter. Shea butter making is actually laborious, like it's a difficult task. We, together with other organizations, have been calling upon the state to actually provide some support services to these women groups, especially in terms of machinery, but equally helping to regulate the market prices of these butters. Because you can imagine if they go through all these difficult process and they do not get a good market price for the product.
For these women, it is a daily struggle to meet their customers' demands for profits that are not as good as they should be. They are, however, hopeful that with time, things will change for the better. Albert Sorry, Joy News, Pusinamo, Talense District.
And we'll take a quick break here. We will return with more news. Now, after the exciting 2021 edition, the competition is back again with some 499 schools facing off in the regional rounds of qualifiers to seal a spot for themselves. This is the beginning of what will eventually decide who the next winners will be after Prempeh College. Already, 7 schools in the Bono and Western regions have booked their places in the nationals. This afternoon at St. James Minor Seminary has cut 8 opponents to size by scoring 53 points, the highest so far across the country, and that's the National Science and Maths quiz there. Very, very interesting. The
Congrats from St. James Minor Seminary. They've just beaten their compatriots by what we've seen to be the highest set of scores in this round of regional qualifiers across the country. 53 good points. We've not seen that in the entire country. Let's talk to them briefly and find out how the excitement really is having beaten their compatriots. Of course, last year they couldn't really go so far in the competition. This year, they seem to be on fire. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very
much. If I say Ahotefo, what do you say?
The Saints.
Ahotefo.
The Saints.
Ahotefo.
The Saints.
Ahotefo.
The Saints.
Ahotefo.
The Saints.
Great. I mean, absolutely exciting contest that we saw. Really, really impressive. I mean, was this something that you had already planned? You were coming to cut the guys to pieces and then show everybody their size?
Okay, originally our plan was to cut everyone off, but we couldn't reach the target we had set for ourselves. But even though that wasn't able to be done, we are still grateful for what we have been able to do.
You're talking really big. You couldn't reach the target that you set for yourself. 53 points, and we heard Christmas say that's the highest in the Bono region. Well, I'm informing you that's the highest so far across the country by way of regional qualifiers so far. That must be really impressive, and this is not even what you envisaged for yourself. What is the secret this year? I mean, have you taken some herbs or something?
Oh no, St. James is always the best in the whole nation.
I see.
Whatever we prepare for, we achieve. So once this year we have chosen to prepare for the NSMQ, obviously we must be able to take the championship, both at the regional stage and at the national stage. So setting targets and achieving them are our goal this year. And this year, though we haven't been able to take this particular one, as we are moving forward, we'll be able to do more. We promise.
And already you are making huge promises. This year you are taking the regional championship.
Yes.
Last year in Kranza SHTS, I mean, stunned you guys, and Susek eventually took it. This year, that's going to be different?
Oh, surprises are always inevitable. But this year we are going to make calculated plans to make sure that whatever is thrown at us, we would have a counter plan.
Are you sure your boys are supporting?
Oh, yes, yes.
Are you sure? And so those are the boys from St. James Minor Seminary here in the Bono region, and they have won the very first contest in the second day of qualifiers in the region. They beat off competition from Goka SHS here in the Bono region, Sumaman SHS, and Our Lady of Providence. They are on their way to the national championship. Well, before that, there's also the regional championship, and last year they lost that to in Kranza SHTS. And you're hearing them say that this year they are going to do magic and retain their trophy.
Now, coming up in business, Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Chinamanting, is calling on financial institutions to initiate schemes that will enable women entrepreneurs access loans, significant yet affordable loans. Coming up in business after this.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business here on Joy News today. My name is Beverly Broom. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremanting, is calling on financial institutions to initiate schemes that would enable women entrepreneurs access significant yet affordable loans, highlighting some factors that could improve economic well-being of business women. The minister stressed the need to include women in the national development agenda. Speaking at the Ghana Women Entrepreneurship Summit, Mr. Tremanting urged women entrepreneurs to build their capacity to enable them fully utilize funds provided by financial institutions.
Given the inherent risks associated with the operations of MSMEs, such as their small size, financial inadequacy, and newness in the sector, female business owners in that space are likely to struggle more compared to their male counterparts. It is for this reason that the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremanting, made a call to financial institutions to develop products to fund women-led businesses.
If we want to help women entrepreneurs to access credit in a more significant way, then we have to identify the challenge of not having the capacity to provide security to support the applications for loans. In this regard, the Deputy Governor for the Bank of Ghana is here. And I want the Bank of Ghana, together with our financial institutions, to initiate a program that will provide guarantee support for loans that go to women. Secondly, if the Bank of Ghana and the banks are going to depend on this guarantee scheme to support you to access more funding, then you need also to have the capacity to manage your businesses. Yes, money is important, but if you cannot manage your business, your business will fail and you cannot pay your loans.
Minister of Communication and Digitalization, Ursula Owusu-Ekuful, advised the women to include digital platforms in their marketing strategies.
About a year ago, I came across a young lady who was repackaging chewing sponge, sari. She buys it from the market, sanitizes it, breaks it into small packs, and packages it nightly for sale. And I put it on my Facebook page and encouraged people to buy it and chew it because of its benefits. I mean, we have the best teeth in the world. You know some of the comments that I got? Instead of focusing on my work as Minister for Communications, now I'm selling sari. But I did that because I think we can all, in our own small way, promote our local manufactured products and utilize them. I only use black soap shampoo for my hair and shea butter products for my skin as well. And I think it is absolutely essential that we use it. And I know that DEA is already doing it, but we need to use digital tools to expand our market.
At this year's Ghana Women Entrepreneurship Summit, organized by the Ghana Enterprise Agency and its partners, the We Rise Network was launched to create a support system for women in MSMEs. Here is Chief Executive of the Ghana Enterprise Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye.
In 2018, when we began this journey, we had no idea where it would take us. But one thing was clear: we wanted to support Ghanaian women entrepreneurs together. And why was this so important to GEA? To better understand their needs and for us to find ways to support them as the apex MSME government agency in Ghana. The theme of the Maiden Summit was From Voices to Actions, and it resonated well with all the participants then and brought along with it the need to set up a women's entrepreneurs network. Today, as we open the third biennial summit, the journey has not been without its own challenges. However, what I have learned is that although the journey has not been easy, it has been fruitful.
In a quest to involve young girls in ICT, MTN Ghana says it will increase its investment to help young girls take advantage of the technology world. The Senior Manager for Sustainability and Social Impact Robert Kuje, says building a career in ICT will make women self-dependent to contribute to the socio-economic development.
The Girls in ICT initiative draws attention to the need to bring more girls and young women into tech, ICT and STEM sectors. It is aimed at exposing young girls to opportunities in the ICT sector through mentorship and open day programs to prepare them for ICT-related professions in future. Here is the Senior Manager Sustainability and Social Impact for MTN Ghana, Robert Kuzo.
MTN is partnering the Ministry of Communications to embark on this initiative because of the impact this initiative is going to have on our young females within the ICT sector. These females are females that have been drawn from the rural areas. So this initiative is actually going to give them the opportunity to also match up with their fellow females within the urban communities, and also to empower women in general, to come into the ICT space.
According to the Deputy Minister for Communications, Ama Puma Boateng, the selected girls will be taken through basic information and technology skills. She maintained that the girls will be monitored against cyber attacks after the program.
I can give you bigger this, bigger that, and these girls are falling for it because they will say that when you have these features, you get a man to buy your house in East Legon or airport or live at these prime areas. So they are all falling for that, and their pictures, their naked pictures are available online. So our focus is on cyber security and data privacy before anything else. We work in different capacities and with different institutions. So in the past, everybody was doing the same. We were basically doing the same thing and targeting the same people. But now we've come together, and we know that Ministry of Education, for instance, has encouraged University of Mines, UMAT, Mines and Technology, to come up with a pre-engineering program, which is like a one-year program where students who didn't take up science in the secondary schools can go for a year program at that university and later on take up engineering courses there. So we are still in talks. Whatever is good and applicable, we're doing that.
The Girls in ICT program is an international initiative adopted in 2012 by all International Telecommunications Union member states, including Ghana.
That's all for business. We have more business news coming up on Marketplace at 1 p.m. Up next is sports.
Time now for the latest updates in Showbiz. My name is KMJ. Reality star Liku Rose of Big Brother Nigeria fame has opened up on a day in the Big Brother house, answering questions on several issues, including her chance of surviving in the house. The star said she didn't think she was even going to make it past the 6th week of the competition. Here's more on Liku Rose.
I didn't believe I was going to make it past 6th week.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you think so?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was a thing of, you had so much followers for going to the house. So
yeah.
I kind of felt people would be like, well, she should come out while she's doing that and this, that. So I'm like, let me just, and there were so many people in the house that, they had a lot to offer. So many talented people and intelligent people. So
yeah.
I'm like,
let's see how this is going to go.
Let's see how it goes.
And that was Luca Rose on Joy 99.7 FM with Lexus Bill. That'll be all for Showbiz. For more news, log on to www.majoronline.com. My name is KMJ. And that'll be all for our bulletin for today. There's more news on majoronline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Coming up next is Marketplace with Charles Aite. Good afternoon.